So for today's project, we're going to have a little look at plastic welding and repair. But do please remember, if you have a go, use a mask and adequate ventilation, or even better, work outside, because the soldering iron, or if you buy a proper one from Amazon or eBay, a plastic welding machine, do give off plastic fumes, and also sandpaper gives off particulates that you can breathe. So adequate ventilation and a mask, please. Thank you. So there are three main techniques. One is just to melt the plastic. Two is to use a little bit of metal mesh. And three is to use a cable tie melted on. So there are three separate techniques, but I believe the very best results will be gained from put the mesh on first and then melt on the cable ties. So I believe that should give the best results. Okay, let's jump in and give this a go. This garden chair is a bit broken. It should look like that. So the brake is here, and as well as that, so there's the brake, and then as well as that, it was meant to be solid along here. So I'm going to look at repairing that now. So here it is, a couple of minutes later, with these edges cut a bit more similar and sanded. We still have a large crack in the back here. So let's look at a few techniques to weld plastic or repair plastic. Let's have a look. So the main thing that you're going to be using is, in this case, I've sacrificed an old soldering iron. You can also buy them, I believe, on, the likes of eBay or Amazon as an actual plastic welder, but it's basically something like an old soldering iron. Method one would just be to put it onto the broken plastic and melt it on the least visible bit, i.e. usually the back or the inside. You melt it with that. Method two is to melt zip ties or cable ties into the crack. And method three is to get a little bit of metal mesh. And if you haven't got some, get some from your local DIY provider for this. It's great stuff. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to melt the mesh in first and then melt that on top. And I'm hoping that that combination is going to give the strongest all-round results. So this is proving to be a very slow and awkward process. It goes something like this. You pick a little bit, press the tip on and wait for it to melt, but it takes quite a while. So maybe I should have made my mesh smaller or tackled a smaller job for showing this. But as you can see, it does work, but it's very, very slow. Let me just zoom in a bit there. So I'm only doing, a few millimeters at a time and then just moving along. So it's a very long and slow process, but it does work. Getting a piece of cable tie and holding it there, pressing it until it melts. And you can kind of go back over while it's still warm. Look, it's molten there, and I'm mixing it in. And it's filling in where the metal gauze is. And we're getting a slightly smoother top. I'm going to push on a little bit more now. So again, it's going to be quite a long, slow process. But the point is that I'll get there in the end. I'm going to break that off, and then I'm going to go back and remelt that now just to make it smooth. Make sure it's smooth. Okay, that's kind of looking good enough. Let's push on a little bit extra. So here we are, 15 minutes of blood, sweat and tears later. And lots of plastic melting. It's not the neatest job in the world, but I'm going to sand that now, and I'm hoping that it's going to look a lot nicer. And then I shall shortly finish up with my favourite new building and project material, which is PVC pipes. So I'm going to get some of them and fold them and hopefully mould around the top here. So there we are, a minute or two later. It's not very neat, but it's smooth, like it's safe and smooth to the touch, and not going to see any of that because it's at the back. All you're going to see at the front, and the front is becoming visible now. So now I'm going to bend some pipe Here's one I made earlier. Please take no notice of the workbench. It's never usually this untidy, honest. So here's a piece of bent pipe, and the way I'm doing that, I'm about to bend the other side of it. Look, so it's going to go something like this. I'm going to have to rebend that end, but you can see that's fine. I'm going to make another bend right here, and the way I'm doing that is I'm using my heat gun. Okay, so here we are. And what you do is, as you just on a low heat, and look, you turn it as you're heating it, and you're gradual like that. And you just keep going for about 5 minutes. Keep turning, keep it nice and slow, keep it nice and gradual. Keep turning, and there's a higher speed, which I'm not bothering with. I'm just being more patient. So just keep doing that until you'll feel when it starts to melt after about 5 minutes. So here we are 10 minutes later, and I'm pleased to say I now have a shape, something like this. That was difficult, but I got there, and I'm now going to cable tie it on, something like that. So I've cut the back of this chair to be neater before putting on my piece of shaped plastic. And just to say, once you've scratched PVC, you're never going to get it fully clean. So make sure that's the back. It's actually perfectly smooth to the touch. It just doesn't look very nice, but that's been sanded very thoroughly and is completely smooth to the touch. However, keep it hidden from view because the front looks perfect and the back looks awful. So just make sure that your repair is hidden from view. Okay, let's put the shaped plastic on to finish. So I have now made this piece of plastic after lots of heat gunning and shaping, and that's going to fit into there. However, I'm unhappy with this finish here. I'm going to sand that more heavily, and I'm unhappy with the look of that edge. So I'm going to cut that now, and I'm going to sand that now. See you shortly. And of course, do check out a bunch of the other excellent videos which are available on YouTube about this subject of plastic welding and repair for other tips, tricks and techniques of other creators. Voila, there we have it. One fixed chair. So it looks pretty good from this side, if I may say. 5 cable ties holding on the shaped PVC. It doesn't look amazing from behind, but as I say, keep your repair kind of hidden away, you know. Very functional, and just so long as you keep your repair piece hidden. There you go, little bit of plastic repair. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. All the best. Till the next time. Cheers.